I've been grinding, so I'm celebrating more life. While you outside, still trying to pass the door guy.
I'm your host, Dajuan Pulliam with Kalos Kocktail Hour. This is a beautiful day. We have one of the individuals that I actually was waiting to have on the show. So I'm glad to have her here. For those who don't know her, her name is Rachel Svoboda. She's an entrepreneur, philanthropist, a marketing mayhem. Representing companies across the Southern California from the past 20 years. She's a CEO of Sunday Brunch, which we will get into, because everyone loves Sunday brunches, so we're gonna get into that, as well as a full service communications agency, which is located here in Orange County. And she has a brand that's no other than the brand Lynxx, which is a bourbon right here based out of Orange County. Rachel, welcome.
Thank you. That was a real generous introduction. I like that.
It was definitely.
You got my name pronounced right. You got all the highlights in there. It's good.
Of course. we have to. We have to get it right the first time.
And thank you for having me. I am delighted to be here.
Thank you.
This has been already a wonderful experience.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
And I've given a few of these, and I got to tell you, they're not all wonderful, but this has been wonderful. Great.
I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you're here. So we're going to get right into it. We're not going to waste no time. We're not going to waste the audience time. We're going to get right into this. Who are you and what do you do? And how are you able to do so many different things, from the philanthropy, from owning a spirits company, to marketing, communication, to working with other brands, to still handling your brands? How does all this stuff work? Wow.
How do you do
It's a lot.
I love that question. Because I love what I do, and I think that's the trick. You have to really love what you do. The first time I ever walked into an advertising agency, many years ago, I was like, "What did they do here? I don't know what they do here, but I want to do what they do. I want to be around this creative energy."
Most definitely.
And someone asked me recently, "Oh, do you ever worry that you're going to burn out? You've been in this industry for 25 years." I was like, "No," because I love what I do, and the thing about advertising really got me started in business.
Okay.
I loved building brands and businesses for people.
Okay.
Everything from building strategy and logos and websites, and then later it's like social media, right? And of course, plenty of television commercials. And I worked at big agencies. I worked at small agencies. I worked with brands like Toyota, to LAX Airport, to California Pizza Kitchen, to Nectar Juice Bar, Irvine Company, everything in between. I work with individual brands and people and nonprofits, and I like it because as long as me and my team feel passionate about what our clients are doing and we believe in them, then that's a win, right?
Most definitely.
So we're helping them build their businesses. We believe in what they're doing, and then I'm going to answer the other part of your question is. So a couple years ago, I realized I'm providing this amazing service,
Most
right?
definitely.
And I'm committed with people and their brands.
Yes.
But then I was thinking, well, I want to own a brand.
Okay, so
I want one too.
I see the connection.
Yes. So a couple of years ago, I was shopping for a gift for a woman, and I wanted to get her a bourbon.
Okay.
And I had a couple girlfriends who had started vodka brands for women, like Skinny Girl Vodka,
Yes, I'm
Spa
familiar.
Girl Cocktails, right? And I had watched them do this, and I'm like, oh, well, all right, there's got to be a bourbon for a woman. And I'm shopping, and I'm looking, and go and find one. And I was like, oh, this might be like a blue ocean opportunity.
Blue Ocean.
Yeah, you remember that that book, right?
Yes,
Find your blue ocean, right?
Yes, how you set yourself apart, how you stand out amongst the crowd, kind of like the purple cow.
Yes,
so to speak. Yes,
exactly.
For sure.
All right, so I started doing my homework, and I was like, okay, well, I don't know, I'm not an expert in distilling, right? I'm not a master blender. That's not my gift.
Most definitely.
But after all these years of building brands, I'm really good at connecting people and architecting things and building brands. So I reached out to a third generation, female master blender in the space. I reached out to a female distiller, female bottlers, female tasters, pitched them the concept, told them the story of the brand I wanted to build, got them all on board.
Okay.
And then after years of building this brand, getting the right mash bill, aging it, right? Like all doing all the things.
Which takes time. I mean.
Oh yeah, yeah, it does. So then, eventually Lynxx was born.
Okay.
Out of that dream to create something different.
Okay. So Lynxx was born. So we're going to take it back to the beginning.
Sure.
And the beginning is the marketing, right? You started in the marketing, helping others build their brand, and which I think that's synonymous because that's kind of how I got started with starting a spirits company. It's helping others. You help others and you realize, okay, how they're doing it great or how they're not doing it so great. And then how can I do it better or how can I tweak this to figure out, like you were saying, the blue ocean. And I think one of the biggest things is your marketing. If we look into that, how did you get into the marketing aspect to be able to, I guess, transcend you to the Lynxx? So how does that come about? How do you start something like that? Or how did you end up just hopping into the marketing of your business? And what is your business name? The marketing agency.
Oh, so the marketing agency.
I said in the beginning, but.
Yeah, so the marketing agency, for those who don't know, it's called Sunday Brunch Agency. And the reason I named it that was because whenever you say, oh, I want to go to Sunday brunch, people always say, what a great idea. And I feel like in marketing, you always need great ideas. So hence the name. Sunday Brunch Agency, and it's full service. We do everything: strategy, branding, websites, social, PR, events, you name it. We've got all different clients in different industries doing different things.
And how big is your team?
So it ebbs and flows. We've gotten as big as 10 at some points. In 2016, when I started, we were a virtual agency before it was trendy to be a virtual agency. But the people who worked for me said, we don't want an office. And I said, okay, we don't need an office. And that was the trend before everybody was talking about it, before COVID. And so when COVID hit, we were like, well, this is business as usual, except for now we're not going to events. That was really the only change for us.
Okay.
So business was still good.
So as far as the overhead was, you pretty much had no overhead because you didn't need an office. So that actually cut out a lot of overhead. So in order to do that. You
think so?
Oh, okay.
Okay,
so
but in the modern world of running a business, the overhead isn't just brick and mortar anymore.
Very
the
true.
overhead is you're paying for tools and resources and tech to help run your company.
Most definitely.
The amount of subscriptions and and back in the day, it's like, oh, you need computers and maybe you need to pay for Adobe. And now it's like you've got all these different tools, and
25 here, 30
and
here.
SEM Rush, and all these different platforms that you need to get the job done. So there's some stuff, but I mean, it's different than it used to be. So.
No, that was definitely. When was this? When did you start this company?
2016.
2016. So that was right at the cusp of before the internet, especially social media, that is, really took off and really the way it is now. It was kind of getting to that point. 2016, I feel like, was kind of the transition into social media, TikTok, Instagram, all these.
Yeah, TikTok hadn't started yet.
No, not yet, but it was it was on the back end. People were talking about it.
It was coming. Yeah, and at the time, social media was zero part of our services, really, or tiny, and now it's easily over 50% of our business.
Wow. And does that help a lot with your spirits company, with owning a marketing agency?
Oh, absolutely, because then Lynxx is basically just one of the clients that Sunday Brunch services. So over the years, we've worked with tequila companies, and we've worked with whiskeys, we've worked with wine companies, and now we have a bourbon that I just happen to also be the client.
Nice.
And the agency, which is great.
You can't beat that.
Yeah.
For sure. So that's awesome. So as you see there, it's supporting others to support your dream. So in order to having a marketing company, Rachel was able to actually help others, which was whether it's marketing, helping with websites, helping with digital marketing, whatever the case may be. And within the support of others, it helped her in the long run with starting her spirits company, which is great. And with that, as far as you going down that road and through that journey, you did a lot of other things. So, you're a board member on various different boards. And also you're a philanthropist. So let's get into the philanthropy before we get into the board, talk about your philanthropy and exactly how does that help you spiritually, and emotionally, as well as how does that help you get through your day as being a businesswoman? Because I know it gets hard, and I feel like being in the industry of philanthropy and giving, it actually balances and it actually makes you feel better, with a lot of different things. So talk a little bit about that.
Okay, I'm going to talk to you about that. And I'm going to throw you a curveball on that whole thing that I don't think you know about, but I talk about it publicly. But before I do that, I'm actually going to tell you that I actually last year started another business that is all about helping people start their businesses.
Okay.
With a couple partners. It's called the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate.
Oh, actually, I saw, yes.
Yes.
Okay, yes, I saw. Yeah,
it's right. That's the acronym. Is yes, the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate, and so that is a consulting company that we've started where we work with members and we help them stay inspired. We help give them tools to start their business, whether they need like help writing a business plan, or they need marketing support, or they need like guidance, or they need help with the legal stuff or the tax stuff. I mean, we are training them.
How about funding?
Absolutely. That's part of it. That comes up.
Like, yes.
I had a conversation about that today. We also developed a curriculum. So we're teaching a young entrepreneur class in schools now. And we're doing corporate training to help people become better intrapreneurs in the organizations that they work for. So that's really exciting too. And this goes back to your point earlier, like, how do you have time for all this? It's because I love what I do. So I'm invested in it emotionally, spiritually, physically. I'm in it.
Nice.
So that's wonderful. Now, back to philanthropy. All right. So from a very young age, I was taught to be philanthropic.
Okay.
Growing up, I went to Catholic middle school. I went to Catholic high school. I was always like in a family environment that really valued giving back, and school taught me that. And then when I got in the business world, I had mentors who were on board of directors in different organizations and would bring me along and teach me and show me how to use our gifts in that way. So I am grateful to be able to take my skills in marketing and offer them for free to organizations or to consult and help them. And over the years, there have been different touch points where I've been more moved at other times than others. So a few years ago, and here's the curveball that you may not have known. So a few years ago, I was a survivor of domestic violence, which it happens to 1 in 4 women in America. It is the silent crime that nobody talks about. And you see strong, professional women, and you're thinking, how did they become a victim of domestic violence? That doesn't, you have a different picture in your mind of what that looks like, right? But it happens to people all the time. And so I started talking out about that. I started donating to organizations that helped survivors of domestic violence with their legal battles, with protection. That was, for the last 10 years, I mean, I've been really involved in that space. So it's near and dear to my heart. I was very lucky to get out and get a lot of help from a lot of really smart, empathetic, wonderful people. So I wanted to be able to help. Now, my gift isn't to help in terms of, like, I'm not a counselor.
Yes, for sure.
I'm not a, like, that's not my gift, but I can help the people who do the counseling or who offer the legal fees, the legal support. I can help them with their marketing. I can help donate money or whatever they need. So, so that's been interesting. And then more recently, my children are getting a little bit older, and now they're involved in different things. So now I'm giving back to their school, I'm giving back to their sports, I'm giving back to the things that they want to do. My daughter's in National Charity League, and she loves volunteering at the American Cancer Society thrift shop. So, like, we go there and, almost every Sunday. And so, my philanthropic journey has changed and continues to, but it's really important. And I'm now instilling that value base with my kids.
Yes, and your children. How many children do you have?
2.
Awesome. And you're instilling that, you're laying that foundation as far as what is it, what is not only what it take, but it's selfless. It's something that you want to do that's you're not getting no benefit other than it's feeding your soul and feeding your your inner being. And I think that's very wonderful. And congrats to you. I mean, congrats to you.
You didn't know that,
strong.
did you?
I did not.
You did not. Yeah.
I did not. But I'm glad you shared that. And I think that's very important because it's you being who you are, this powerful woman, and being able to do the things you're doing, and going through a traumatic situation like that, and being able to, 'cause like you said, the surface of it is always, oh, they're doing fine. They're doing all this stuff. They don't need anything. We need. Everyone want to take, and no one's actually filling in the cup and putting things back in the cup. Everyone want to take out of it. And just by speaking with you, this short period of time, I understand that you're a person of giving, and I could see someone or people, always want to take from you and never ask you, how are you doing today? What do you need today? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how can I help you? You know what I mean? And so
that's funny. Somebody recently, very close to me, said, you don't ask for help with things. You do a lot of it yourself. Like, why is that?
Yes.
And I was like, well, I like being of service to others. It makes me feel good to know that I'm helping other people. And, so yes, that spirit of giving is
most definitely
throughout.
And I mean, and it's interesting. Like I think it's admirable, but it's well as it's finding. I'm pretty sure you probably do a very good job at doing this. But it's finding the right people who can feed you, the food you need, and surrounding yourself around those right people. It may be one or two people. It might not be 10 people or 20 people or friends, and it just may be one or two people who support you. That circle.
The quality over the quantity.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And so thank you for sharing that. And if there's any way that I can help with because I don't know if I told you, but I was actually in law enforcement. And I'm still am. I work for the Department of Homeland Security as well, and so I deal with a lot of different, different cases and different things. And I was an MP in the military, which is military police, and so I dealt with, believe it or not, colonels and people of this nature. I probably shouldn't say that, but I'm gonna say it. Like, it's real life in the military as well. There's people that go through domestic violence, or people that go through just situations just as well as they do in the streets or the city. It happens on federal property as well, and it showed me, how to really navigate and really, ask people and talk to people and ask those questions. How are you doing today? And when you're saying hello, actually mean hello, or, actually mean what you're saying, and really see their communication, their eye contact, and see, because people may say something, say, I'm doing fine, and they put their head down and just walk away. Those are signs of somebody that's not doing okay, even though they said they're okay. So it's compounding those traits and qualities and characteristics, and how people are supposed to react to certain questions, and they don't act the way they're supposed to, and knowing how to, okay, let's follow up with that with a question. So I think that's awesome. So thank you.
Asking with genuine interest.
For sure, most definitely.
That is, I think a skill and a talent that most people don't have. Think about, like, you're at the grocery store or you're at the coffee shop, and they say to you, how are you? And like people's automatic response, I'm good. Like
keep going.
Keep going. Well, it's like, how are you really?
Yes. Like, how are you doing? And you kind of find out, I just was on my way to the gas station and my car blew up and it's right on the side of the road. And it's this whole story behind it. You're like,
what road did you take?
Yes,
Go on that road.
Well, shoot, hold on. Do you need to use my cell phone? Do you need to call somebody? What's going on? Because people because they still going through their day, and still, they may have to go get some milk for their kid or something. They still have to get this done, regardless of what just happened, that I got to figure this out later. But I still got to finish this, mission that I'm on.
Yep.
And because, time don't stop. And I think that's why we have to be there for each other and support each other and be on boards and be doing things that potentially will help each other. So that's awesome.
That spirit of caring.
Most definitely.
And you can't teach someone to care.
No, not at all.
I mean, if they are a can not do type of an attitude or a person, then their cup is empty. They're walking around like they're not filled up. They can't give. It's like, and that applies to the way they keep their house, the way they keep their car, the way they perform in their job,
Yes.
the way they interact with people. Like, you know, that spirit of caring, and that's something I talk about with my staff all the time. Like, I can teach you how to do the job, but if you don't care, then this isn't for you, and let's talk about that.
Most
like,
definitely.
What can I do to help you get on a path that's going to make you live in a more fulfilled, caring, happy life?
For sure, most definitely. And spirit of caring, which brings us to our next point, the
Yes.
spirits.
Spirits.
So, spirit of caring, this bourbon, Lynxx, it is a bourbon, and it takes spirit, which it takes heart to build as whiskey, a bourbon, any type of dark liquor. It takes a spirit because it takes time to build. You have to mix it. You have to malt. You have to do all these things, which we will get into.
Yeah.
You know, that you have to do to develop this. And this is a pretty bottle, by the way.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, pretty bottle.
Yes. So, why don't we talk about the
Yes,
bottle?
for sure.
So, I love that the bottle, if you look at it, doesn't it sort of look like a vodka bottle?
It kind of does.
It kind of does, right?
It kind of does.
Not that all vodkas don't have to be tall and slender and sleek and kind of
But this is the
sexy
quality.
looking.
This is the top of the top. This is the top bourbon. This is the top vodka.
So that's no accident. By design, I wanted a bottle that looked sleek and feminine and sexy and tall like a vodka. I also wanted the lid to have function like an antique perfume bottle.
I noticed that when I opened it.
Yes, so when you open it, there's
that
no
little-
cork. It's all glass, but it also fits snug in there, which is a very different expression of that feeling of opening a bottle. And the way that this was designed is, I'm very proud of it, because I
definitely.
fought a lot of battles about people who were like, no, if it's a bourbon, it has to be masculine, and it has to be, you know, wrapped in paper, and it has to be
Yes.
black or whatever. And I was like, no, like
that's
I want it
perfect.
different. So a lot of time and attention went into this. And then so Lynxx, the name, I'll tell you the backstory on
Yes,
this.
please.
So Lynxx is the most ferocious of all the jungle cats. But we did it with two X's at the end for
Okay.
female chromosome. This is the first bourbon ever made by an all-female team, ever.
Wow, all female.
All-female team.
So the distiller, the master distiller, the
Master
cork,
blender,
the bottle,
everything.
everything.
The whole team. And here's a secret. So on the back, you have to put how many years it was aged. And it says that it was aged for 2 years, which is the minimum for bourbon. Now, the label and everything had already gone like to all the entities that be. But then because of COVID, it sat in the barrels another year. So it's actually aged a bonus year
Wow.
in this particular version. So this might be a keeper. You should
Yes,
keep this as
for
a
sure.
collectible bottle.
Well, it tastes great. I mean, I actually tasted it, and it tastes wonderful.
Thank you.
So I was definitely.
So I'll
You
tell
put
you
that on my
that
shelf.
the people at the World Spirits Competition agree with you. We won gold this year, the first
Awesome.
year we entered, which was very exciting for us.
Yes.
And so the way I worked with the master blender to have this made, so to be bourbon, it has to be at least 51% corn.
Okay.
But the majority of the bourbons out there have rye in the mash bill. So the most famous bourbon that doesn't have rye, which when that happens, it's called a wheated mash bill.
Okay.
And the Pappy Van Winkle is the most famous and most expensive and exclusive bourbon out there. And I said, I want to be like that. I want to be like the next Pappy Van Winkle, so we're going to make it a wheated mash bill. Another wheated mash bill that's well known is Maker's Mark.
Yes.
Now you see that used
Yeah,
oftentimes.
with the red wax on the top.
Exactly. People will use that a lot of times to make like a Manhattan, right? So Lynxx works beautifully in Manhattans. It's also great over the rocks or on its own, and it's proofed down to the lowest that it can be proofed to still be a bourbon. It has to be at least 80 proof.
Yes.
So that's what it is.
80 proof.
And I had to kind of fight the battle on that one too, because people are like, oh no, throw it up. I was like, no, I don't want it up higher. I want it to be gentle and soft, and I want to be able to taste all the
Taste, yes.
flavor. So it drinks more like a rich wine than a fiery bourbon.
Most definitely.
So that is the difference maker in how this is kind of.
Put a lot of thought into that, which is, that's commendable. You know, you just didn't throw something together. It actually has a purpose for from the cap to the label,
Yes.
to the back, to the wording, everything has a purpose. And that's wonderful. And it's, I mean, the fact of the matter that you created a cap that seems like a perfume bottle when you open it. So it has that little metallic click when you open it, like a top of a perfume or a cologne.
Yep.
Which that's awesome. Which that's actually, I don't know if you have like a sound of that or something. That'd be awesome if you had like a sound.
Yeah. Can you add a sound?
So that's awesome. So when you you got into the spirits world, were you nervous? Was it, because it could be intimidating, you know, getting into a industry like that and, you know, not having any background, or even if you do have a background, it's still going through that tier system. So speak to me in regards to what did it take and how did you even get into this in regards to the making of this bottle?
So for those who don't know, so here in America, we have the tiered system. So that which means that, I don't know if I'll talk about it. So
yeah,
you've got your owner, and then an owner has to sell to a distributor, who has to sell to a retailer, who has to sell to the customer. So it's not like if I made necklaces and I could just go sell to direct to consumer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that example is just like one example of all of the different rules and procedures. You have to deal with the federal government, you have to deal with the state government, you have to deal with the Alcohol Beverage Commission, you have to, you know, worry about like getting bottles. Do you get them in America? Do you get them overseas? Do they meet the rules and the regulations for the size? And like, there's a lot of rules. So I basically knew that I didn't know what I didn't know. So, like anything, when I take on any new client that I don't know, I get voracious for information and data, and I start studying, and I start asking people, and I start networking with those people and asking for advice. And, you know, that honestly, I mean, that spirit of curiosity and just wanting to know, I mean, I just started asking around. And it took me a couple of years to get it all together, but it had helped that I'd had clients in the spirit business.
Okay.
So I knew a few people to start asking. And my friends who'd started vodkas, I asked them for questions.
So that's a key point right there. Yeah. The fact that you had some type of knowledge behind, you know, for a start. So, so individuals that don't necessarily have that type of insight, or have a mentor, or have someone who can help them start a brand, or even an idea on who the first person to ask, how should they go about?
So that is exactly why we started the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate.
Okay.
That is exactly why.
So it comes around full circle.
Yes, because some people, they might be like, oh, you're an ad agency, you're too expensive. Can't hire you, can't talk to you, you know, and there's like that barrier to entry. But the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate, it's so welcoming. It's, you know, we want all those questions. We want to help you. Like, that is the whole purpose.
Most definitely.
So
that's awesome.
Everyone should start there.
Okay.
Even if you've been a leader or an entrepreneur for a while, you're going to learn from people who are in that room of like, they're 10-year, they're 20-year, they're 30-year entrepreneurs. There's no way you're getting in the room with those people if you're not part of this group.
Yes, for sure.
But if you're part of the group, then it's like,
come on.
And they're like, how can I help you? And you're like, oh, wow, great.
Yeah, it's like, it's a network. It's just that having that network. Your network, like we hear it all the time, your network is your net worth.
True.
Which is another thing is relationships. A network is relationships. They're synonymous. So you have to build that network, and in order to cut that time in half, it may take you years to potentially build a relationship with an entrepreneur or a businessman or woman who is at the top of their, you know, of their industry. And it may take you may have to figure out ways where they drink coffee, you post in front of the coffee shop where they drink coffee to wait till they come in. You have to do all these type of things to try to speak with this person to potentially help you. But what if you had a company such as Rachel's who can actually cut that time in half and get you in front of these individuals within a week or two, or on the phone or on a Zoom call to ask certain questions, or to potentially be a mentor? Who knows what that may lead to? So I believe it's important to have, you know, companies as well as Man, entrepreneurs and mentors who can help you, with the process. Because my whole thing, even with my kids, has always been cutting the time in half. So if it take me 10 years to do something, it should only take them 5 if that's something they really want to do. And I think that's why, we work hard, and that's why we have to put our best foot forward to help others, but also to make sure that we helping our family as well, if they want to be helped, because not everyone want to be helped.
Yeah.
But
we brainstormed. So we do a weekly every Monday night at 5:00. We do a live Zoom for members only, and we brainstormed somebody on just that topic because they were like, I really want to work with this company. How do I get to them? And so we brainstormed it out, and a week ago, and they're connected.
Awesome.
To somebody they were at 0.0 and now
they're
foot's in the door.
Wow.
So
see?
that's exactly what we're talking
That's
about.
awesome. That's awesome. And does it cost to get into this, or is it a kind of like, how does this work?
Yeah. To be a member, there's a monthly fee.
Okay.
But it's really nominal.
Okay.
Really. And if you DM me, I might have a discount code for you.
Okay, you hear that? Discount code.
Maybe.
Go check her out.
If you, it doesn't hurt to ask. I'm telling you, you have an in right now. This guy is hooking you up. So yes,
For sure.
we can make that happen. So.
And where can they go? So if they DM you on
So they
LinkedIn,
can.
Instagram?
Young Entrepreneur Syndicate is on LinkedIn. They're on Instagram.
Okay.
There's a website, all the things. In all honesty, though, don't send a message to Facebook because nobody checks it.
No, not at all. The messages,
And
not at all.
I hate Facebook. Sorry.
Hold on, we're going to exit that out.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, but,
Facebook, please post this.
No, but we monitor the other ones much closer.
For sure.
So we have a YouTube channel. We have videos on there. We have free advice. So there's a lot of free tools, and we also have like book recommendations on there, and those are available to everybody. So there's a lot of tools that you can pull even as a non-member that would definitely help you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's so that actually brings to my next question. So you have this company that can potentially bridge the gap with entrepreneurs or people who want to get into the business world, and with your marketing agency, from your marketing agency to your Lynxx, what does it take as far as capital to build a company? So whether if you're talking about a spirits, whether you're talking about a marketing agency, on average, what do you think someone should come in the door with to build a company? Because let's face it, whether if you're trying to get into real estate, trying to start a business, there's a lot of companies out here that can help you with everything, but you have to bring something to the table, which is finances. And the reason why I bring this question up, and I think it's very important, is because when I first tried to start my company, it was like, one guy told me, he said, I won't say his name, but he's like, give me $30,000 and I get everything set up for you. And, all you have to do is just go sell, and it
Did
sounded,
you do it?
Oh, no.
I was going to say,
Of course
okay.
not. I'm
I'll hope you
way
didn't
too
do that.
seasoned, way too seasoned.
Right. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that, but it really taught me. But the only reason why I didn't do it because I was doing other things and I was an entrepreneur before that situation. So I knew how to. I kind of could sniff out certain things, And if it's too good to be true, really look. No, don't. Listen, I'm not gonna say don't take it or don't go after it, but really look into it because it was like $30,000. And as I started looking more into the industry, I started realizing, I won't even have a relationship with the cap manufacturer, with the bottle manufacturer, with who's making alcohol, the spirit or the juice, where is this coming from? How do I distribute this? All this is going to be his, knowledge or his IP. And I'm like, okay, so if something goes haywire, or if I have to transition my business to something else, the only thing I'm going to own is just the name. And I still have to go through him or her. And what if they don't answer the phone anymore? So that really, I was like, okay, let me look into this some more. So it took a little bit more time, and I realized that, man, if I would have did that, I really would have been in a bind, and I would have lost a lot of money because that actually distiller, he actually is not in business anymore. So I would have been out of business because as far as I'm a private label, and being a private label, you're pretty much, you own the brand and you're building the brand. So it's important to have a stronghold as much as you can. So how does that? So
wait, what's your goal, by the way, with your brand?
Yeah, so the goal is to be everywhere. I mean, I don't want, I'm not going to say any brand names, but I want Kalos to be the new vodka. The new vodka that's everywhere. That's remember back in the day you had, I'm gonna say the name. I shouldn't say it, but I'm gonna say it.
He's gonna say it.
Ciroc. So Ciroc came and Diddy was the head of that, and he was pushing it, and he was. He had the 3-piece suit on a jet ski, and the blue, dot to match the drop of New York.
Remember.
Like he just had, it was the Frank Sinatra. It was like, he just had this whole marketing, just frenzy, and it was awesome. And it really grabbed and it really went for 10 years or so. And but that's kind of going down a little bit, and there's need to be a new vodka on the scene, and there's no new vodka that actually took that lane. Okay. And there's going to be a different way the new vodka could take that lane. It ain't going to be Diddy's way, because Diddy, you can't replace Diddy.
Yeah.
But it's a new vodka has to come and merge, and our Kalos Kaleidoscope of Vodka is that, and as we build and as we grow, we want that to be the forefront of, elegant, sleek, just, quality, whatever you're trying to make cocktails, or you're trying to, from the light on the bottle, just it all, we want to be that vodka, and there's a void, and we're trying to fill that void. And being a new, millennial way of podcasting, creating content, doing it a different way, we're going to be the forefront.
I love vodka. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like just a bourbon girl. I mean,
nice. So,
I put a little vodka in my my mommy water bottle for the soccer games. Put it in my post workout.
So you can't taste none now. So why?
I know I can't taste any right now. I will later though. Mm-hmm. So there is one of my most favorite people is Andy Frisella.
Okay.
Okay. So Andy Frisella owns First Form. They like a supplement company, and they do clothing and that kind of stuff. And he started this 75 Hard program a couple of years ago. It's free. You guys, it's just look it up. It's out there in the world, okay? It doesn't charge for it, but here's the thing. So 75 days, and there is an app so you can like track your progress. It's 2 workouts a day.
Okay.
Each for 45 minutes. One of those workouts must be outside. Drink a gallon of water a day, no alcohol, follow a strict diet with no cheat meals, and take a progress picture. Every day for 5 days. It's about consistency, it's about discipline, it's about getting the work done, it's a lifestyle adjustment. And I gotta tell you, I did it back in 2021. And so once you go through the 75 days, and literally if you fail, like you forget a progress picture, you don't get to your whole gallon of water, whatever it is, if you mess up one thing for one day and one thing, you fail. The app will not let you move forward if you don't click the box, and you have to be like honest with yourself like about it. So there's this great sense of pride. But if you fail at day 2 or you fail at day 58, you start back from the beginning.
Okay.
There's no like, oh, I messed up today, I'll get back on it tomorrow. It's like, no, tomorrow's gonna be day 1 again.
Yes.
So there's no compromise in this.
You have to, every day you have to nail it.
Yeah. So once you get through the 75 days, then it unlocks the Live Hard program.
Okay.
And the Live Hard program is 3 separate chunks. Phase 1 for 30 days, phase 2 for 30 days, and phase 3 for 30 days. And you add in additional things. All those things I just listed, plus then you add in 10 minutes of visualization. You add in meeting a stranger and asking them how they are and actually listening to their answer, right? So you add in these different things that make you a better version of you and make the people around you the best version of themselves.
Awesome. So
it's amazing.
It is amazing. So it's working from the inside out. It's really inside out.
It's been a game changer, and I have found myself over the last 3 years gravitating towards more people, whether they're clients, colleagues, friends, who have either been through the program or are living that lifestyle. We're working together more. We're like collaborating more because we're all sharing the values of discipline and consistency and being reliable and dependable on each other.
Definitely.
So that being said, we all, all the people I know who've been through the program we all like to drink, we all like to have a good time, but not when we're on program.
Nice.
When you're on program, you're like,
you're
there's
locked in.
no compromise.
There's no compromise. So what day are you on?
I'm on day 21.
Day 21, okay.
Yep.
Okay. So did you have
This is my third time through.
I was going to say, did you have to restart, or was this, you made it 31, no problem?
So last fall, I started. I always start on the right around the time my kids go back to school after summer. That's always a start, and I made it 41 days, and I failed. I had some friends over for dinner, and it was a conscious fail, and I was like, I'm sick of doing this, and I'm tired, and I'm not feeling motivated. I'm gonna have wine with dinner, and I mean, I have to like say that I had to own up to it, right? And so the first time I went through it, no fail. Second time I made a conscious choice. This is my third time through, and I'm not quitting. I'm gonna go all the way, like
all the way through. Discipline.
Yeah, I'm determined.
Discipline.
But I'm glad I failed so that I knew what that felt like.
For sure.
And I can relate to people who make that choice.
It sounds like you have to be true to yourself too. I mean, because it's so easy to go on that box. I mean, on that app and just click the box. Okay, yeah, I did it today.
No, I can't do that.
So that it creates it's healthy. All the way around. Like I say, from the inside out, because it's really determination is building that. The honesty, that integrity.
Oh, this is just sparkling water with lime.
Oh yes.
And salt on the rim for decoration.
Yes.
But,
yes, for sure.
For the record.
For sure. For the record.
Yeah.
As well.
Yes, he's doing it in camaraderie.
As well.
No, we're in it together for today.
So I'm on day 0.
Yeah.
Day 75.
But it's the best thing I've ever done. I mean, and you know what people talk, especially a lot of women talk about, they have negative self-talk, right? My thighs are fat, or I don't like my hair, or whatever, right? And it goes on, and people repeat. Like Dove did an advertising campaign a few years ago about, people who they had to write down the things that they were saying to themselves internally, and they're like, you wouldn't talk to your friend that way. Why would you talk to yourself that way?
Yes.
So, but doing the 75 Hard program is the most positive self-talk I think I've ever had in my whole life.
That's awesome.
There's the little things where you're like, you drank your water today, yay! You read your 10 pages, yay!
Good
like
job.
all these little wins, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I feel really good about myself.
And it's true. There's a book. I forgot the author name, but it's about water.
Okay.
And the freezing of water. And I wish I had the name of the
Wait, is it about the energy?
Yes.
The positive energy?
Yeah, positive energy, and how this. So man, I have to get in there. If on the YouTube, in the bottom of the description, I'll have a link as far as the book name and everything with the author. So, but this author, so basically he had water, and he had water on the left hand side, water on the right hand side, and basically he had these words going through the water, and as it's freezing, these words,
like the audio was going through.
Yeah, so you had negative words and positive words.
Okay.
So these negative words, the water crystallized differently than the positive words.
Yes,
water.
I heard about this.
And it's a direct reflection on us as beings. Majority of our being is water, so it's energy, it's current, it's things that's going through it, it's frequency. And if you talk to yourself negatively, if you're always pinning yourself down, you always saying things of, well, I can't. And if your body keep hearing that, it's eventually going to do exactly what you're telling it to do.
Yep.
You can't do it, so why would I push myself? You're feeding yourself, words of unencouraging words that's not going to help you at all. So you have to be positive. You have to continuously tell yourself positive things and have that affirmation.
Yes.
So when you're drinking this good old sparkling water and you say, good job, sparkling.
Yes, right? Oh, and,
you drink it,
and I forgot to
good.
say, by the way, those 10 pages of reading that you're doing every day, it has to be a nonfiction book. A book that is about, maybe it's about business or about energy or about positivity or parenting. Like, it can't be a novel.
Yes.
So you're bettering yourself. You're learning things. You're getting inspired. And all of a sudden, the ripples of all of that are impacting your relationships with your siblings and your parents and your spouse, and everyone's like feeling better around you.
Most
so it's
definitely.
really, I can't say enough good things about it.
That's awesome. Awesome. And
so no drinking today.
So no drinking, just sparkling. But we're gonna have you back on hopefully, and we will most definitely have some drinks and some cocktails.
Shots.
Everybody, shots, for sure. And so we have two more things for you.
Okay.
We have a game called the Kocktail Tell All, which is 5 questions. But before we get into that, it was a question I asked, and I don't know how we skipped over it.
Okay.
But we've been having a lot of good conversation, but I think it's important for the audience to know how finances. How much does it take?
I didn't successfully avoid you on that one.
To build, and you don't have to say what it took to build your company or your business, but just on a broad from this number to this number, what would it take if you don't mind, because it's important for people to hear it coming from a business owner. I'm not saying, because it was people, like I was saying, who told me $30,000. It was a guy who told me $200,000 to start an alcohol company. I know those are not true, so, and I'm a testament to that, but I do know that you need money in marketing, you do need money in, and other different things. You don't have to necessarily say what you're doing for your company as far as your numbers, but, if someone really wanted to come into this industry, what would you give them? Because I would say you need depending on how big you're trying to get your brand, you need 50, depending on how big you want to get your brand, or you need 200,000, depending on, how much you're trying to put into marketing. It all depends on how big you want to get or how savvy you are with networking, with, getting contacts and meeting people. So let's not even leave it to a number, but what do you think are some things that would be needed to start a spirits company?
So, thanks for bringing us back to the money. It's so fun to talk about money. Everyone loves talking about money. All right, but it is important.
It's important. It's
important.
like oxygen for a business.
It is.
It's important.
It's important. So you need to do your budget. And one of the things that I did when I started was figure out what those buckets of money what were the buckets for a spirits company, right? And some of the things you may not have guessed, like different licensing, fees, different trademark fees, certain minimums on how many pallets or minimums and that kind of stuff. So I would say at minimum to start a spirits business, you need, and not all at once, you don't need it like on day one.
Definitely, that's good. That's important to know. You do not need
it all at once.
Unless you're starting a franchise or something. But when you're starting something from the ground up, you don't need all your money all at once. You just have to be able to constantly get there.
So I'd say in at least $50,000.
50, most definitely.
I because agree. It's there's going to be sweat equity that you put in. There's going to be maybe sweat equity that you get from other people. But the best business advice I ever got was, don't have a business partner unless you absolutely need one.
Yes.
Because it's a marriage.
Yes.
A business partner is a marriage. So think about it like that. Investors, only take them if you need them. If you can self-fund, that, in my opinion, is always better. So that's not to say that there's not the time and the place where that's appropriate, but really don't just go into it and start with that. I would say make sure you do your homework and you know why you need to go that route versus another route. So talk to other entrepreneurs, talk to other people who own businesses in the industry that you're going into. You've got a lot of great resources out there if you just ask the right people for advice and questions.
Yes, no, you're 100% right, and thank you for that, and thank you for bringing that up. It's very important to understand that if you have owners or founders, if you're a founder, great. If you have other owners, or if you want other people on, potentially be equity investors, or be, if you just need some marketing, or if you need, I don't know, actually, let's even scratch that. If you need a question and you think just because you need to ask a question, you need this question, you want this person on your company just to get a question from them, you probably shouldn't be starting that business. And because you're not going to have no business by the time your business is successful, if it does become successful, because you have to understand what are things worth paying for, what are things worth taking a person out to eat or out to lunch, what's worth giving a person some Laker tickets, whatever the case may be. You have to figure out what it is and what's that value worth to you. And that's why it's important to, when you start any business, to understand your why and to understand what's important now. And that should, negate any of that, giving away equity too early in your business. So with that, thank you for bringing that up, because I think that's very important. And thank you for handling that question so honestly and professionally. I know you're trying to duck and dodge it, but we got there.
Yes.
And I think, but I'm 100% with you. I believe, especially in the spirits industry, if you want to start a brand, having that around that 50K to start and building there, and you have to know what your strengths are. I think that's very important, to know what your strengths are, because you may be good at sales, you may be good at logistics, you may be good at manufacturing, whatever the case, know what you're good at and find the other people around you to do the things you're not good at.
So
and that's
with that in mind, the thing that a few years ago, right around the time cannabis was getting legalized in California, I was getting a lot of marketing clients in the cannabis space. And I was like, I don't know much about cannabis. I should learn more. And I got advice from, I don't know if it was a podcast or a person, somebody said, exactly what you're saying right now. Like, if you are a farmer, then go farm cannabis. If you are a marketer, then market cannabis. If you are a distributor, then distribute cannabis. Like, don't decide that, oh, you're a marketer, now you're going to go be a grower. Like, there's no need for that. Like, stay in your lane, just change like the product of whatever that may be,
For
right?
sure.
So, so Sunday Brunch has worked with cannabis companies in the past, and and sometimes we get asked like, oh, will you do this for equity, or will you do this for shares, right? And that's a whole other thing. Join the Entrepreneur Syndicate. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about how to do that, when to do that, when not to do that.
for sure.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
But every industry is unique and different and has its own, landmines that you want to avoid. And if somebody's been there before you and can cut your time in half, like you were saying, then
for sure.
all the better.
Most definitely.
All right, what's this game?
So most definitely. So now we're gonna get into the Cocktail Tells All.
Okay.
I know we're not drinking alcohol, but it's okay. What we're gonna do is, the whole concept of this game is kind of like bullshit. So it's kind of like, you can either say bullshit, or you can say not bullshit, or you can say NB or BS, whichever works for you. So I have 5 questions here, and they're not hard at all. I mean, these, should get through these with no problem. You're very bright, intelligent, young.
Yeah, compliments. Yeah, compliments are good. Keep them coming.
I keep them coming. You want to keep going?
Yeah.
So, number 1, and so when you do get the answer wrong, you have to take a drink.
Okay.
Now, if we were actually drinking, the whole purpose of we were drinking, and you will be shots, but we're not drinking on this podcast or this show. So we're just going to go with actually, let's fill your cup a little bit.
Okay.
Because you're probably going to be drinking a little bit more.
Woo.
All right.
Thank you.
Fill mine's up too. And if you get it right, I'll drink.
Okay.
All right. So let's start. Number 1, to be considered a bourbon, it has to have 51% corn. True or false, or bullshit or not bullshit?
Oh, well, that's true. So,
okay.
I don't know if the answer is what if it's true.
So not bullshit.
So
okay.
not bullshit.
So not
okay.
bullshit. Okay.
Not bullshit.
That's right.
Okay.
So let me take a drink.
And if you guys were watching, and remember, at the beginning of this show, we said that. So we gave the answer away.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, you did. Number 2, you can mix bourbon with Coca-Cola, but you can also polish coins with Coca-Cola. Bullshit or not bullshit?
I think Coca-Cola is pretty gross. Probably true.
True.
Is it true?
No,
Yes?
Yeah.
All right, good. You're drinking more.
Not
All right,
bullshit.
good.
I got a drink. Okay.
Yes. So not bullshit.
Man, I'd be 2 shots in right now.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're not drinking this one. All right. All mammals can jump. Oh, that's it. All mammals can jump. Is that bullshit or not? Or
That's not true.
why is that?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
You're right. Elephants can jump.
Oh,
So you're right.
all right, man. This is good. I'm going to bat
know,
1,000.
I feel like maybe you should have drank that one because you didn't know
All
why.
right, I didn't know why.
Let's drink together.
Okay. All right.
All right. You got that one right, though. Man, 3 for 3.
Okay,
All right.
I'm ready.
Women blink nearly twice as much as men.
True.
True?
Yes.
Dang, shoot, man. What? I gotta
Because
kill
we're
it.
flirting with our eyes. That has to be why. But I'll take a drink anyway.
That was the easy one. I should have did a
I'll
different.
blink extra.
Should have different. I should have did a different question. That one was too easy. All right, this one has to stump you. China has more English speakers than the U.S. or United States.
True. I got it right?
You got it right.
Yeah.
You read these somewhere, huh? Where'd you read these? Yeah, that's true.
I'm on 75 hard, and so it gives you extra super strength. That must be it.
I see. It is true. Yeah, China actually has more English speakers. Is this really?
Are you sure there's not vodka in yours?
Wrong bottle, you know. But you're right. China has more English speakers than United States. Yeah. But I think it's because of just people in general. I mean, they have over 1 billion, people in China.
Well, I think in America we like to think that everyone speaks English, but that is just not the case.
No, it's true, very true. And that is true. And just the ratio as far as natives to non-natives and all that, that's a big thing that we really don't put in perspective. And we also it's not as big as we think it is either. I mean, the more you travel and the more you go around, the more you realize how small the world actually really is.
And most places in the world, people speak multiple languages.
That is true.
And here we really don't do that so great. So
yeah, I know people that speak like 6 languages, and I'd be like,
yeah,
I've been deprived. Hold on, what happened?
It's really hot too. When people can speak multiple languages. Very sexy. I like it.
Oh, there you go. That brings up, are you single? So men out there, are you single?
I've been dating someone for a very long time.
Okay, so it don't matter if you speak multiple languages.
And he speaks multiple languages. He does, many.
So men, you're out.
Yeah, sorry.
It's not going to help you at all.
I mean, but submit, your number of languages and I'll consider,
Yeah, she might pitch you on a marketing company, That's awesome. So please, before we wrap up, please tell us about your spirits. Where can you find it? And also, where can you find it? Where can you buy it? Where can it be sent to your door? Can it be sent to your house?
So the easiest way to get it is go online to lynxspirits.com or go on our Instagram and you can order it direct. We can have it shipped to your house. We ship to 33 states, I think, right now.
33. Yeah, they just a couple
Update.
more. Yep, update. Yeah.
And so there's that. I'm being very selective with where else you can get it. By design, this is not that kind of a product that is going to be everywhere. I have a few select restaurants and private clubs that have it, and that is it. So, you have to buy it online or you have to know who to ask to get it, and that's the way Lynxx has always been designed to be. Nice. I try to do about one event a month where people can get it. And normally at the event, we also have diamond decanters, diamond glassware, other accoutrements
that are
part of the Lynxx brand. But
you actually can get that from off the website.
That's
right?
on the website too.
Okay.
Yep. And then for anyone who's watching this show, and we'll put it in the description too, but the code for 10% off of your bottle purchase is Love Lynxx.
Love Lynxx.
Love Lynxx with 2 X's at the end.
2 X's.
So Love Lynxx, that'll give you 10% off.
Love Lynxx.
Yep. And so that's where they should go. And then if you want to talk about marketing, there's Sunday Brunch Agency. If you want to talk about entrepreneurism, there's the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate. So yeah, I'm doing a lot of things and I love it. And I wouldn't want it any other way.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you. Thank you for coming on Kalos Cocktail Hour and enjoying a mocktail with us.
Yes.
And really just, going through the business and the mindset, and, kind of what it takes to, develop as far as, we only have so much time, and I think, to get even more, please visit, her on her social media links as well, which will be in the description below. And really, I would say, call her, email her, do what you have to do, because I believe she can bring a lot of value to your company. And with that being said, please like, subscribe, follow, share. If you enjoyed this podcast as well as this YouTube, channel, please hit the bell button. And yeah, we're going to close it out there. Thank
great.
you.
This was really fun.
It was definitely. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Definitely.